Starting Monday, undocumented immigrants will qualify for health insurance in the state.
Do you need a gun to go to your daughter's AYSO soccer game?
Of New York, clearly both sides not backing down. I almost feel like they're doubling down on this, trying to prove a point.
The bustling streets of New York City are vibrant and alive with the hustle and bustle of daily life. But beneath the surface, there's a different story playing out. One of struggle and uncertainty. Imagine waking up to a headline screaming NYC starts abandoning sick migrants on the streets. It's shocking, but it's also just the tip of the iceberg. Not literally, but in essence, many migrants find themselves homeless despite the existence of the Migrant Relocation Assistance Program. In the heart of this iconic city, there's a quiet crisis unfolding. Thousands of asylum seekers and migrants from all corners of the globe are seeking refuge and a fresh start. They've left behind war, poverty, and persecution in search of safety and opportunity. Now, the city faces a big challenge: how to provide shelter and support for all these people. That's where the state's Migrant Relocation Assistance Program comes in. With $25 million to help resettle 1,250 families across New York State, it sounds like a lifeline. But here's the kicker. Despite the big budget and good intentions, the program's falling short. Only about 170 families have been resettled so far, leaving many migrants still struggling to find a stable home.
The migrants don't want to be in shelter for the rest of their lives. They're here just to get a little bit opportunity to get out, and once they get a little job or something that they can help their families, we're already experiencing them going elsewhere and going other places where they can build community.
It's a tough situation, and there's no easy solution in sight. The state's Migrant Relocation Assistance Program, hailed as a beacon of hope for migrant families seeking stability and a fresh start, has unfortunately fallen far short of its intended goals. Since its inception last July, the program has managed to relocate only 174 households into permanent homes outside New York City. This paltry figure stands in stark contrast to the initial aspirations of the program and has left many questioning its effectiveness.
Pursue more sound management.
Expressing her disappointment, Jackie Bray, the State Emergency Services Commissioner, lamented her wish that program was working better. Her sentiments echo the widespread sentiment of frustration and disillusionment among stakeholders who had high hopes for the program's success. The stark reality is that the program is not meeting its objectives, leaving many migrant families in limbo and without the promised support. Comparisons with other states further underscore the shortcomings of New York's program. For instance, the state of Illinois, which launched a comparable program around the same time, has managed to relocate an impressive 4,797 households into apartments. This stark contrast highlights not only the magnitude of the issue, but also the failure of New York's program to effectively address it. So, what are the obstacles hindering New York's relocation efforts? One major challenge is the widespread resistance from local authorities, particularly in counties outside New York City. As a result, migrant families have been placed in only 5 counties across the state, severely limiting their options for resettlement. In some cases, county executives have even resorted to issuing executive orders in an attempt to block migrants from settling in their jurisdictions, further exacerbating the challenges faced by those seeking refuge. Ultimately, the failure of the Migrant Relocation Assistance Program to live up to expectations is a sobering reminder of the complexities and barriers inherent in addressing the migrant crisis. Despite the best intentions and significant resources allocated to the program, systemic challenges and local opposition have undermined its effectiveness. As a result, many migrant families continue to languish in uncertainty, deprived of the stability and support they desperately need. Policymakers and stakeholders must come together to address these issues and ensure that all migrant families are allowed to rebuild their lives with dignity and security. The Migrant Relocation Assistance Program in New York faces a myriad of challenges that have contributed to its lackluster performance. One significant obstacle is the reluctance of migrants to leave New York City, where they often find under-the-table jobs and where their children have already started school. Additionally, the city's affordable housing crisis compounds the issue, as rents must be low enough for families to afford once the state subsidy ends. Local opposition to accepting migrants has also been a major barrier to the program's success. In Suffolk County, for instance, County Executive Ed Romaine issued an executive order explicitly opposing the program. Suffolk County is not, nor will it be a sanctuary county. His administration was not even notified of the county's participation in the program before he took office, underscoring the lack of coordination and communication between state and local authorities. New York's program differs significantly from similar initiatives in other states, such as Illinois, which allowed migrants to resettle in Chicago. New York's program, on the other hand, restricts participation to families with children who have filed for asylum and are on track for work authorization. Furthermore, the state aims to move migrants outside New York City, which has posed additional challenges given the preference of many migrants to remain in urban areas. The shortage of affordable housing across the state exacerbates the program's difficulties, as landlords may be hesitant to participate due to concerns about tenants' ability to pay rent once the subsidy ends. To incentivize participation, New York offers landlords bonuses of up to $15,000 and has launched marketing campaigns to promote distant counties as viable resettlement destinations. However, these efforts have had limited success in overcoming the systemic barriers to relocation. Despite these challenges, state officials remain committed to finding solutions and exploring alternative approaches. Deputy Mayor Ann Williams-Assam emphasized the importance of innovative thinking and urged consideration of alternative strategies if the current program proves ineffective.
Natural byproducts of asking one municipality to respond to what are state and federal issues.
As the state grapples with the complexities of the migrant crisis, it must continue to adapt and evolve its approach to ensure the well-being and stability of migrant families across New York. Subscribe to stay informed and be part of the conversation on finding lasting solutions to the migrant crisis in New York. With the promise of a better life outside the confines of New York City's shelter system, many migrant families find themselves caught in a cycle of uncertainty and hardship. The Migrant Relocation Assistance Program, touted as a solution to alleviate the burden on the city's shelter system, has fallen short of expectations, leaving families in limbo. Take the case of the Rodriguez family, who arrived in New York City seeking asylum from political persecution in their home country. Despite their hopes of finding stability and security, the reality has been far from ideal. For months, they have navigated the complexities of the shelter system, grappling with overcrowded conditions and the looming threat of displacement. Similarly, the Martinez family, fleeing economic hardship and violence, has faced numerous hurdles in their quest for a better life. Despite their determination and resilience, they remain trapped in a state of uncertainty, unsure of when or if they will be able to secure permanent housing outside the city. These stories are not isolated incidents, but rather emblematic of the larger systemic challenges plaguing the Migrant Relocation Assistance Program. With only a fraction of households successfully relocated since its inception, the program's shortcomings have had profound implications for real lives. As New York City officials move to limit the time asylum seekers can spend in the shelter system, families like the Rodriguezes and the Martinezes are left with even fewer options. The prospect of finding alternative housing within a limited time frame adds yet another layer of stress and uncertainty to their already precarious situation. Despite Mayor Eric Adams' assurances of intensified casework and support, many advocates remain skeptical of the city's approach. As the struggle for housing persists, it is clear that more comprehensive solutions are needed to address the root causes of homelessness and displacement among migrant communities in New York City. As the Migrant Relocation Assistance Program continues to falter, critics are pointing to systemic failures in its implementation and the inadequate response from state officials. City officials, including Mayor Eric Adams, have expressed impatience over the program's slow progress.
With people needing our help to arrive without warning at any hour of day and night,
highlighting the urgency of finding viable solutions to the migrant crisis. One of the primary criticisms leveled against the program is its lack of foresight and adaptability in the face of evolving challenges. Despite mounting evidence of its shortcomings, state officials have been slow to acknowledge the need for innovative solutions, opting instead to adhere to outdated strategies. The absence of viable contingency plans has further exacerbated the program's failings, leaving migrant families stranded in a state of limbo. Without alternative pathways to permanent housing, many families are left with few options and little hope for resolution. Moreover, the city's decision to limit the time asylum seekers can spend in the shelter system has been met with skepticism and concern from advocates. Critics argue that such measures are short-sighted and fail to address the underlying issues driving homelessness and displacement among migrant communities. Calls for innovation and creative problem-solving have grown louder in recent months, as the urgency of the migrant crisis continues to escalate. City officials must be willing to explore new approaches and collaborate with stakeholders to develop comprehensive solutions that address the root causes of homelessness and displacement. In the absence of meaningful action, the cycle of uncertainty and hardship facing migrant families is likely to persist. State officials must heed the calls for innovation and take decisive steps to overhaul the Migrant Relocation Assistance Program, ensuring that it fulfills its promise of providing a pathway to stability and security for those in need. The current approach to housing migrant families in shelters comes with significant economic inefficiencies, costing the government millions of dollars annually. New York City spends approximately $400 per night to shelter each migrant household, amounting to at least $180 million per year to accommodate 1,250 families. In contrast, the $25 million budget allocated for the resettlement program translates to about $55 per night for each family. Despite the initial investment required for the relocation program, it has the potential to yield substantial cost savings in the long run. By providing families with a year of free rent and decent apartments, the government can significantly reduce its expenditure on sheltering migrants.
There are homeless New Yorkers. Taken together, the city is now caring for 70,000 people every day.
Moreover, the program's comprehensive approach, which includes connecting families to essential services and facilitating their transition to self-sufficiency, offers social benefits beyond mere cost savings. By empowering migrants to integrate into their new communities and contribute to the local economy, the program promotes economic stability and social cohesion, benefiting both migrants and the broader society. The struggles faced by migrant families in this crisis go beyond just money. They also feel it emotionally and socially. Imagine leaving your home and trying to start over in a new place. It's tough. Luckily, organizations are helping out. They make sure families have food, healthcare, and other things they need to get by. They also help them learn English and find jobs. But it's not easy. Many families have been through really hard times. Take John Freddy Hernandez Aparicio, for example. He's willing to do any job to support his family, even if it's hard work. Despite the challenges, there's hope. Some landlords are giving migrant families a chance to rent their homes. They believe these families can do well and stay for a long time. And there are success stories too. Najib Arsalan, who fled from Afghanistan to escape the Taliban, faced many challenges. But he didn't give up. He volunteered to help other migrants and finally got a job as an engineer. These families show us that even when things are tough, people can be strong and find ways to make things better. In wrapping up, it's crystal clear that our migrant families are facing serious struggles here in NYC, and it's time for us to take a hard look at what's not working. Despite efforts, the current relocation program is falling short, leaving too many families still stuck in the city's shelter system. We need our city officials to step up, admit where things have gone wrong, and get creative about finding real solutions.
The motives for this policy is really to make people uncomfortable enough, so I don't believe that the mayor is being honest.
That means tackling local resistance, providing better support, and treating these families with the dignity they deserve. Let's not forget that behind all these numbers and programs, there are real people with real stories. These families have been through so much already, and it's on us to make sure they get the support they need to thrive in their new homes. So, let's hold our officials accountable, push for change, and make sure that NYC lives up to its promise of being a place of opportunity and compassion for everyone. It's time to do right by our migrant families and build a city we can all be proud of. Let's keep the conversation going. Share your thoughts, ideas, and solutions on the migrant crisis and urban policy. Your voice matters in shaping the future of our city. Subscribe to stay updated on this important issue and join discussions to work towards a more inclusive and compassionate NYC.